Grand Rising, Grand Arrival, Grand Return, peace and blessings to the righteous and repentant alike. I am Chief Sophia of the MariKaNa Band of Indians, and this is a rapid response to the incident that happened in D.C. last night. If you didn't hear, there was a Black Hawk training helicopter that would normally be carrying a very important person that crashed directly into a passenger airline that was carrying people from the what do you call that, figure skating community, like high level people from the figure skating community. And I just wanted to make a rapid response to this because I do know that the conspiracy theorists are going to attempt to make this a conspiracy theory. And the fact of the matter is that it's not. It was an accident, okay? If you've never flown out of DCA, if you've never been to DCA, you really don't understand what's going on at that airport. I worked at the airport actually in college, before I gave birth to my oldest daughter. And so I'm familiar with the airport as someone who actually worked there. And it's a very, very busy airport. And there were lots of close calls, even at that time, almost 20 years ago, when with the airplanes and stuff. And so I just want to like quelch any conspiracy theories that come up, because literally it was a training helicopter. They were doing a training, and I've gathered information from people who have done that specific job of training people and stuff like that, and it's very, very dangerous. Learning how to fly those helicopters and stuff like that. And keep in mind, most of our airline pilots are former Air Force or military members. So they would be aware of this. And what I think happened is that the training helicopter literally just did not see the commercial plane due to the nature of it being dark, and also the location where the plane was coming from. If everybody is, if there's not someone looking, it could be a fatal incident. And that's what I do believe happened. And the reason why this needs to be said is because in 2016, a group of individuals proclaiming themselves to be government insiders called Q came up, and they started pushing all of these conspiracy theories. Everything was a conspiracy theory. Nothing could be explained by plain English. And the Republican Party has been dealing with this for 4 years. And so we're not going to let this continue on. I know there's a blue anon out there. Blue, and I'm wearing blue. Okay, it's Thursday. There's a blue anon out there who is trying to gather the fringe people from the Democratic side and spin everything into a conspiracy theory. So if we have to, we'll do rapid responses to all the major incidents like this. But yeah, it was an accident. It was a tragic accident. We don't do thoughts and prayers over here because thoughts and prayers cost. But we can still say Lord have mercy, because from what I'm hearing, people were still strapped into their seatbelts because they were preparing for landing. So, and there was 64 individuals on the commercial airplane, and there were 3 individuals on the training helicopter. And so so far there are no survivors. It's very, very cold in DC. That Potomac River is very, very cold. I've worked by that river. It's very, very cold, and so they don't think there's going to be any survivors. It's very, very tragic, but it is an actual accident. And if people don't really think that it's an accident, they're like, no, it was this, it was that. Well, the last 4 years, the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin was a total disaster. And so, because people were saying, yeah, when we do trainings like that, because it was a training flight, when we do trainings like that, we would fly 3 at a time. It would be this, there would be more precautions taken. So would the Biden government under Secretary of Defense Austin take money from the training program of the Air Force or Army or whatever and spend it on immigrants and spend it on DEI or spend it on vegan soul food? Yes, they would, because we have the proof that they spent money on all of these things. And so I think it's probably a lax in standards for training. That's the reasonable thing to come to. Also, exactly 1 year ago, almost to the day, on February the 1st, an article came out in the Washington Times where somebody was saying that the FAA, also ran by the Biden regime, was turning down qualified air traffic controllers to fulfill quotas. And so now you understand why all of this DEI stuff and all of these quotas and stuff is unsafe. It's just unsafe. Hire the best people all the time. Everything should be merit-based. It's not saying that black people, white people, orange people, green people can't do these jobs. But for right now, hire the people who can. It's only common sense. The lack of common sense is to say, no, this person is the most qualified, but we've got to reach this quota, so we're going to hire this person over here. That is grossly unsafe. And I think that that's what this tragic accident is a result of. The gross incompetence of the Biden regime. They are the ones who have been in charge for the last 4 years. Trump wasn't in charge. His Secretary of Defense just got sworn in, 2 days ago? Secretary of Transportation got sworn in yesterday. They didn't have a chance to assess any of these things. It doesn't work like that. It takes time to get assessments, and they're all asking, hey, what's the status of this? What's the status of that? And so I do believe it was a tragic accident. Now, do they take tragic accidents and try to direct the energy towards their rituals? 100%. Because yesterday, what happened? It was the Chinese New Year, it was the new moon, and also you have Uranus going direct. So would they try to take this tragedy, this tragic accident, and turn it into a blood sacrifice? 100%, because that's what Satan does. He takes what was meant for people to turn to the Creator and say, oh my God, we have to do right by the Creator, by the ones the Creator says to do right by, and they will take that and they will turn it around on them and say, no, we are going to use this energy to feed our Satan. That's what they do. And so this is why the QAnon, the Blue Anon, all this stuff is so dangerous, because it robs people of the ability to turn towards the Creator. And so from that perspective, we'll be doing rapid response, because there's no reason to see this as a conspiracy. Literally, I personally, as a person who is from the DC region, I think I only flew out of Reagan one time. And that's because the person dropping me off would not take me to another airport. And I had to choose that airport. Any other time I fly out of DC, I fly out of BWI and I fly out of Dulles. If you want to be safe and you're going to the DC region, fly to BWI, fly to Dulles, pay the few extra dollars and take your Uber from there. It is not reasonable to fly into Reagan for a lot of reasons. It's just not reasonable. Fly somewhere else. This convenience people demanded, Congress demanded by putting this airport right here, has reached the end of its usefulness, especially if you're not going to properly train people. So that's the reason why the airport was put there, so that people in Congress could quickly fly in to vote instead of flying to Dulles or flying to BWI, which is much closer. So this is just a quick rapid response to this incident. Peace and blessings to each one of you, and we'll see you in the next video.